Hello and welcome back to the Faz and Lowgy channel. Today I'm going to be continuing with my Let's Build here in Skysaga. Last time we built the shell of this airship, and this time we're going to be making that shell look a lot better. We're going to be adding some shapes, we're going to be adding some framework, and hopefully things will start looking a lot more like an airship by the end of this episode. So, without further ado, let's get straight into it. The first thing that I did this week was to add a tiny little fin to the back of the hull, and I used white wood as a contrast to the brown wood. I wanted a sort of unique spiky shape to appear at the back of the ship, and this was the best way to achieve that. At this point it got dark, so I decided to go around and add some torches so that people could see what was going on. And I could see what's going on, I mean it was really dark. I then also decided to come to the front and add a bit of a fin to the front. So now we were adding a third fin, because I wanted a fin that also went downwards. I thought that added a nice sort of shape to the back of the ship. Took me a long time to shape that fin. I didn't really know exactly how I wanted it to be. I knew I wanted it to curve slightly, so I worked on it until I got that effect. Now we've jumped round to the back of the ship, and what I wanted to do here was to build some kind of turbine or fan, a propeller if you like, to, propel the ship forward. I wanted to use sky iron, which is a blue iron block, so I went and collected some, and then I got to building. Initially, I think I built it far too small, so I'm actually going to come back to this, and I think I'll keep coming back to this quite a lot because it's going to be quite an important part of the ship, and I want it to look really great. At this point, I had everything I wanted, sort of extra shape-wise, but, I wasn't happy. I was looking at it, and I kept thinking to myself, some of those curves just aren't right. So the front fin, that's got to change, and the back turbine, that also had to change. So I made the front spike into, more of the spike that I actually wanted rather than the weird thing that I had before. And, I played around for a long time. I got it wrong a lot. I added some weird shapes like that one. But, in the end, I came up with something I was quite happy with. I then had the interesting task of adding some layers. I didn't want these fins to just be 2D, 1 block thick fins. I wanted them to be thicker. I wanted them to have lots of layers and to sort of stick out and have some depth, because I think that makes a build look a lot better. What you can see me doing now is adding a sort of framework to the hull. I wanted this big metal framework all around the hull because I wanted the hull to feel like it was supported and held together, and I also wanted it to feel like it could be attached to any kind of balloon or sail that I choose to put above this ship. I played around with the front of the ship quite a lot. You can just see me here playing around with some metal at the front of the ship. In the end I decided to make quite a large portion of the front snout, if you like, or the front sort of pointy bit, to, turn that into metal, because I thought it's quite a fragile and weak point, and if we were holding the ship up we'd want that bit to be quite strong, so I ended up reinforcing it with quite a lot of metal. There was really only 2 colours that I'd used so far other than the white fins. And that was the wood and the metal, and I wanted to sort of border them or to add in some more contrast. So I added in a darker type of wood that would allow me to sort of give it a little bit more colour here and there. I also thickened the joint of the metal framework between the cabin and the main hull part, because I thought it looked a bit weak and flimsy. I've come round to the back again to play around a bit more with the turbine or fan. I still don't know what I'm going to be calling it, but I made it a bit thicker because I wanted the circle to be a bit larger, and I also wanted to make it a bit deeper. I also played around a little bit with the fans just to make them look a bit more like fans at the moment. I don't really know what I'm going to do with them. I wish I had the actual propeller, the movable propellers that you can see in the City of First Light if you go into the game. But I don't have those, so I just made this sort of makeshift propeller for now. I'll probably come back and try and make some better ones later. Adding the metal framework to the other side of the ship is exactly the same as the side you've just seen, so I'm going to spare you that, and we're just going to cut to a slightly wobbly fly around of what the ship looks like at the end of this episode. In the next episode, we're going to be looking at maybe laying out some floors and adding some floors. We also might be looking at the back cabin, giving that a bit of love because it's looking a little bit bland still. From now on, each episode is going to be releasing once a week, every Tuesday, and I guess all that's left to say is that I'll see you in the next episode. Bye! Lowgy.